Torch and a fellow by the name of Paco Zimmer, two icons from the late 60s, 70s in the rock and roll business, owned a staging company called Vicon. And it was probably the first iteration of what mobile stages have become. And their shop was a mile from my parents' deli, 2 miles maybe. And Torch came in one day, got a bunch of sandwiches for his crew that was working, said, hey, you should come down and see what we're doing. And I said, yeah, I'll take a ride down after work one day. And I did. And there was a pair of overalls hanging there. And next thing I knew, I was cutting steel for this stage build that they were doing. And that was around 1977. Torch became the rigger. Paco became the advancement for Boston, which at that time, biggest album in the
Yeah,
world.
that was it. Yeah.
And I kind of got recruited to become a ground rigger, carpenter kind of person,
Okay.
and had no idea what the hell I was doing. And my parents thought I was joining the circus.
Hello, and here we are, another episode of Geezers of Gear. Thanks for joining me today, as always. A lot of new things going on in our world. First, I think you're probably aware that I have launched a new business, GearShare, which is an AI search engine basically for sub-rental gear. It is working amazingly well. It's a tool that we've taken almost a year to build at this point and spent a fortune on AI products and stuff. It's not only AI, but AI handles the bulk of the load. It is doing a lot of the smart stuff in the background. We've got a lot of companies onboarding. Companies are being onboarded more quickly now. We were very slow walking for the first couple of weeks, but yeah, it's going really, really well. We're probably up to about 7,000 items now. We want to push it to 10, 15,000 really, really quickly. We want to get it to 100,000 sort of within a few weeks. So we are going to be onboarding a lot more companies. And one thing I did want to mention, if you're listening to this, you're probably the type of person we would want to add. We are now adding what we're calling affiliates or affiliate partners. And those affiliates, basically, you can earn simply by saying to someone, hey, have you heard of GearShare? It's pretty cool. It's a great way to find gear. And you might want to sign up, and guess what? I've got a discount code. You give them your discount code. You can do this online. You can do it in person. You can do it in a text message. You give them the discount code. They sign up with that discount code, and you get a fairly significant little payment for that. So obviously that scales really well. You could make an extra $3,000-$4,000 a month simply by recommending a platform. And we've just decided that instead of growing a large sales team on our side, we'd rather just take our own friends and network and have you guys share this for us. In the past, I used to always call this a sneezer, a person who buys like the latest iPhone and tells everyone about it. Is in marketing terms, it's a sneezer. It's a person who's going to basically spread the virus, go out and tell people that, hey, this thing's amazing, you should check it out. And so we're looking to pay people to be sneezers for GearShare. So that's cool. Secondly, I haven't talked to you about 4Wall in a while, but I've been speaking with them directly, with Wes, the CEO, and others, and I'm happy for them that they've been funded, that they're out of those nasty, dark moments that they've been in for, God, what feels like a couple of years. I know it's over a year anyways. I'm sure for their entire team, it's just a massive exhale and back to doing business, which is great. And I think it's good for the entire industry when a company that size is on the sidelines and, it causes ripples all the way through the system. Vendors aren't getting paid on time. Staff are getting depressed or down or whatever. We've all been through it. And it's great to come out of those situations. So congratulations to Four Wall on getting funded. And let's keep an eye on that and see how it all goes in the future. I'm sure they're going to get back to acquiring other businesses. And so we'll see. One thing I didn't want to go without mentioning, since we're still in September here, it's now the 23rd of September as I record this, Cosmo's annual space cannon installation for 9/11 in New York. If you listen to my podcast, you probably also follow Cosmo Wilson. And, you know, the guy is just a saint for doing this every single year. Some of the scheduling that he has to do just to get to New York to do this in between touring dates and stuff. Yes, this year he was off, so it was a little bit easier. But most years he's jumping from one gig to another gig. He'll come in, get the setup done and the focus done. He'll fly back out to do a gig, fly back in to make sure everything turns on okay. Like, the commitment that this guy puts into this every single year, and he's so proud of it, and he's so happy to do it, and he gets so many accolades, and it's all well-deserved. So, attaboy, Cosmo, you know, super proud of you, super happy to be your friend, and love seeing you do it every year. And love following the social media posts with all the, excuse me, pictures and stuff. This year was extra special because Steven Tyler showed up, which was pretty wild. Steven Tyler showed up at the 9/11 thing, stood under the lights, got his picture taken under the lights. And a very funny moment. Everyone knows, if you know Cosmo, you know two things about his wardrobe. One is he's going to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and two, he's probably wearing a Beatles hat. And so him and Steven Tyler switched hats. If you haven't seen it, go to Cosmo's social media, scroll down through about 8,000 pictures. You'll get to one where Steven's wearing the Beatles hat and Cosmo's wearing Steven's hat. So very, very cool. Love it. Attaboy, Cosmo, super proud and happy to know you. And, you know, I know you love what you're doing there, but we all love that you do it. And without getting political at all, I wanted to mention this whole Charlie Kirk thing, not for any reasons that you think I might be mentioning it, but does this create security concerns for our own industry? Is there going to be more attention paid to the artists who are on stage? And I know that we've always been concerned with them getting hit in the head with a beer bottle or a glass of water or whatever it is, just things, projectiles from the audience. We've always been paying attention to that. But, you know, have we really been concerned about, you know, call it a left wing or a right wing person on stage who has very political views that one side loves, the other side doesn't love, and someone now brings a gun to that event, or brings a bomb to that event, or brings a projectile or whatever to that event, or runs on stage and stabs them in the face, you know? I know it's very morbid sounding, but it's one of the things that I thought of when I saw that all happening after the fact, was, does this change our industry? Does this... You know, and one of the things that made me think of it is I saw the president's speech at the Charlie Kirk thing the other day, and the president now doesn't speak without the big guard around him now, and for obvious reasons. So, are we going to start seeing concerts where, you know, whoever the artist is has a bulletproof shield in front of him, so he's basically singing from a box? I hope not, but who knows? I mean, our world is a little nutty. Let's face it. We've got some crazy shit going on out there right now, and I would hate to see it come to that, because, you know, the closeness and the sort of romance of being at a show and being that close to the artist and seeing him standing right there, right in front of you or her, is such a big part of all of this. And also, what will the fans think? Like, if Taylor Swift is on stage behind a big, you know, thing that covers the entire stage and the ramps and everything, you know, I don't know. What's that look like? So I hope it doesn't become a problem. I hope I'm not, you know, anticipating something that's coming, because if it does come, if it happens to one artist, it's going to cause significant change to our industry, and we don't need that kind of stuff right now. So, anyways, sorry to enter a dark and negative and morbid topic, but it's one of the things I thought of when that all happened. So today's guest is, I hope I get his last name pronounced right, John. I apologize now if I get it wrong. John Procaccini is a veteran touring production manager and entertainment executive with more than 45 years in the live events industry. Currently the tour production manager for Peter Frampton, John has worked with legendary artists including Jefferson Starship, the Doobie Brothers, REO Speedwagon, Boston, and Sammy Hagar. Beyond touring, John is also co-owner of the Nashville Social Club and principal of ChiliBop Entertainment Group, with past leadership roles at Base Hologram, Base Experiential, and Stagecraft. Known for blending creative and operational excellence, John continues to deliver unforgettable experiences while shaping the future of live entertainment. So let's go ahead and bring him on. Well, hello, John. How are you?
Great, Marcel. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for doing it. It's interesting to learn that somewhere out that back window of yours that I can see behind you is John Wiseman's probably sitting on his boat smoking a cigar or something.
He's not too far from me. He's I don't know exactly where he lives, but he's up in Tahoe somewhere.
Yeah, he's not that far from you, I guess.
And I'm in the foothills.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're not real close to the lake.
About 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
20 minutes
That's
due east of South Lake Tahoe.
Yeah,
Little...
you're probably about $15 million from the lake.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's how far. I'm about 15 million from the lake. Yeah,
exactly.
Is that feet or miles? No, dollars. Yeah, it's funny. John was actually talking to me a few weeks ago about Tahoe real estate and just what some people are spending to build these massive, Silicon Valley mansions on the lake, and it's just wild.
Actually, a mutual friend of John and mine is a landscape designer. Okay. It's actually my wife's best friend. She's a landscape designer in Tahoe, and the billionaires, or as I say, bazillionaires, are coming into town, buying $40 million lakeside properties and knocking them down and building or knocking portions of them down. It's crazy. It's
when you're doing that, you've got what I would call FU money, and it's just, I see it in South Florida a lot too, and I'm starting to see it where my house is up in Canada as well, where people are buying $3 or $4 million houses, tearing them down and building $20 million houses. Or
it's crazy.
My wife just doesn't like the floor color, so I'm going to tear the house down. Yeah.
That's essentially what's going on.
It is wild. It is wild, and certainly on the ocean and even on the intercoastal in Florida, same thing. It's like you're paying $10 million for the land and $2 million for the house. So who cares? I'm going to tear down the house and put up a better one.
Exactly.
So whatever. So you're one of the. First of all, I'm super impressed with myself that I got your last name right. I don't always do that. So Procaccini, for me, I'm massive Italian food fan, and I just thought, if this was on the menu and I wanted to order it, how would I order it? And I got it right. So
it's funny that you correlate it to food, because a little backstory that kind of coincides with the start of my career is my parents owned an Italian deli in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
And back east, they call sandwiches grinders in Boston, Providence.
Right, yeah.
So I've had
that one before.
I've had the nickname John the Grinder for 47 years now.
Really?
Yeah. I started in 78 helping a fella in New England who was a rigger. His name was Arthur Silvio Russo. And
another good German name.
Another good German name. And Torch took me in. I started working in the shop, but he coined the name John the Grinder, and that stuck pretty much. I think of the last probably 7 to 10 years. It's tapered off a little bit because it's got other meanings and connotations. So we don't
True,
use
yeah.
we
Yeah,
don't
there's
use
kind
the
of a
name
popular
grinder.
website, kind of a
Yeah,
popular
exactly.
website where maybe you do or do not want to be
Yeah,
associated to. And
exactly. So
yeah,
I haven't used it all that much, but still recognized as the grinder out there
I
somewhere.
like it. I
Yeah.
like it. That's there's been some really funny nicknames over the years for touring people, and someday somebody has to do a book of the funny nicknames in the touring business and
It's
the
such a
meaning
great
behind them.
idea.
How did the name get brought up? Because I would love to even hear the origin of that whole thing. Like, when did somebody decide that everyone on a tour needed to have a funny nickname?
Yeah.
And who knows? Like, I don't know when that started, what the origin of the whole concept is, but it's cool. It's funny
It
because
is. It
there's a
is.
lot
There's
of
some
people
good
out there that
ones.
I don't even know their name. Like, I just know them
Oh,
by
sure.
the Torch or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I'm guessing you're Italian, obviously,
Yeah.
and so the deli. I read, I think, somewhere in either your notes or some of the research that we did, the deli in Rhode Island. You worked there. You spent a lot of time there when you were
Yeah. I
working.
mean, my parents opened it in probably 1970. Um, and my siblings and I all worked there. And
Yeah,
in between me having a garage band, not knowing I wanted to go on the road with a
yeah,
touring act as a roadie, um, yeah, a lot of my friends came from music and sandwiches, basically.
really.
Yeah,
That's funny. They go
yeah.
together, I guess,
I,
because musicians are starving, sandwiches
yes,
are yummy.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, when I was young and playing in bands, it was musicians and exotic dancers in
Yeah.
Canada because I couldn't afford guitar strings and they could, and so that was just how it worked out. And plus, they usually had a car, so they could drive you to the music stores to get those guitar strings.
Yep. Yep.
And so yeah, it was always fun.
Good.
So, how did you get from the deli business to the rock and roll business? It sounds like a typical story, which is I was in a band, it wasn't going anywhere, and somebody said, "Hey, you want to be, you want to do this thing instead."
Kind of close. So Torch and a fellow by the name of Paco Zimmer, two icons from the late 60s, 70s in the rock and roll business, owned a staging company called Vicon. And it was probably the first iteration of what mobile stages have become. And their shop was a mile from my parents' deli, 2 miles maybe. And Torch came in one day, got a bunch of sandwiches for his crew that was working, said, hey, you should come down and see what we're doing. And I said, yeah, I'll take a ride down after work one day. And I did. And there was a pair of overalls hanging there. And next thing I knew, I was cutting steel for this stage build that they were doing. And that was around 1977, I would say. And
Wow.
yep, they were building this mobile stage that I want to say the first show was Parliament Funkadelic in Chicago.
Fun.
Yeah. And then Torch, Paco, bunch of other folks that are some still in the business, some not. This mobile stage wound up working for a couple of years before I want to say that Mike Brown staging in Los Angeles picked it up and put it as a permanent big hunk of steel stage, maybe at the Ventura Fair,
Okay.
somewhere there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that all those staging contacts kind of led Torch became the rigger, Paco became the advancement for Boston, which at that time, biggest album in the
Yeah,
world.
that was it. Yeah.
And I kind of got recruited to become a ground rigger, carpenter kind of person,
Okay.
and had no idea what the hell I was doing. And my parents thought I was joining the circus.
Yeah.
So
You
I left
kind
the
of were. You
deli.
kind
Yeah,
of were.
I was. I was. So that was my foray into rock and roll. Is ground rigger carpenter for Torch, and who is, you know, still to this day a dear friend of the family and mentor. And he's approaching 80 years old, I think, and still in
Wow.
great shape.
Yeah.
And he and his family still live same house, uh, not far from Providence, Rhode Island. And so
It's
that's
it's
the entree into rock and roll too for me.
it's like Roy, who we had on the podcast recently,
Sure.
Roy Bickle,
Yeah.
and he still goes out on jobs occasionally,
He's a
and
pioneer. I mean, he's
he's
a pioneer.
I
And
think he's 82 or
yeah,
83 or something, as I
probably.
recall,
Yeah.
and the guy just blows my mind completely.
Well,
So
that
what?
was the, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, you go.
I was going to say Roy, Torch, the late Mike Grassley. I mean, there's a Harry Donovan. There's a slew of riggers that from that time period.
Branham.
I'm sure Joe
Yeah,
Branham, um, a slew of them from that time period that were truly pioneers. And
yeah.
um, Roy, I still see via social media, and you're right, taking little projects that he just finished, and he's in Las Vegas, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's wild. I love that because, I was talking to somebody the other day and I was whining about the fact that, at my age, I'm 61 now, and at my age, I'm still working probably harder than I have in the last 30 years. And part of it is because there's just such new technology that I'm getting involved in and really, digging into and becoming an expert on. And part of it is because I still need to make money, and so the person said to me, you need to sort of flip that whole thinking around, because the fact that A, you're still relevant, B, you're still doing something that you enjoy for the most part. Everyone's going to do some things you don't like, but you're doing something that you enjoy in an industry that you love. He said, I'm never going to stop working. Like, you'll have to drag me away from work when I'm in my 80s, because I love what I do, and if I don't do it, I'm either going to be spending money or eating too much or probably living an unhealthy lifestyle of some sort. And I love what I do. Why would I stop doing it? And there's some logic to that.
Yeah, there certainly is, and as I still am out occasionally with Peter Frampton,
Yeah.
and the entire crew. Uh, I would say most of the crew. I shouldn't say the entire crew. We're conscious of many things. Peter, we don't work every day. We work day on, day off, day on, day off. So a time in a hotel is a bit more than a younger touring act that's doing five in a row or club
Right.
shows or whatever. So you have to get up and do something, even if you're just walking around the city or doing something. And then eating, all the choices of eating are certainly far more uh, wider spread than they were in the past. And so
Yeah.
it's not just hamburgers and fast food. You got
Yeah.
lots of choices. So it's all about the choices, really.
I think so.
The
I think
exercise and the walk.
No, you're exactly right. It's the whole health thing is about choices. Like, I know so many people who say, "Well, I'm on tour, so I have to gain weight because that's just what happens." It's
Yeah.
Pizza in the back lounge after the show every night or whatever. What are you going to do? And what you're going to do is say no. I want a
Exactly.
salad. Can you order me a salad, please? Or I'm
Exactly.
going to go out and grab something to eat on my own or whatever. Like, there's always a healthy option.
Sure.
And it's just that usually, believe me, I'm in a constant battle for, do I grab that pizza or do I have some broccoli or whatever?
Right.
it's a constant battle because I love pizza, and I think
Yep.
I'm not Italian, but I certainly must have some Italian in me somewhere, because I could eat Italian food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
I agree.
And I think and you might have some good insight on this, but when I'm in Italy, that doesn't bother me. Like, I don't feel bloated and full and all that stuff. When I'm in America, if I have pizza for lunch and pasta for dinner, I feel like I weigh 450 pounds,
Yeah.
So
Understood.
what someone told me, and I don't know if this is true or not, is that in the US we use enriched flour, bleached flour, all of that kind of stuff, and in Italy they don't.
Okay, that's correct.
Yeah, so a lot more like ancient grains and stuff like that in Italy. It just comes down to real food versus fake food, right?
Yeah, I mean, my wife who's Irish American, moved to Japan mid 80s, I want to say, spent about 9 years there and worked there, moved back to the States where I met her. And she came back after 9 years in Japan and had to embrace a gluten-free diet just because of what she got used to
Right.
in Japan. And when we went to Italy, and she can eat, she does not eat American-made pasta anymore, and even some of the Italian brands that um, probably are manufactured now in the States.
Yeah.
They may be a product of Italy, but I'm not sure they're 100%
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
Um, she found the diet to be tolerable when we were in Italy,
Yeah.
and
That doesn't surprise me at all. It's like I can eat a whole loaf of bread at lunch
yeah,
in Italy and it doesn't bother me. But if I
yeah,
have one piece of bread here, I
yeah.
feel bloated and full and all that stuff. So, but
It's the
yeah,
Franken
yeah,
wheat they call it, right?
right. Yeah. Well, it's just all the garbage that we put in bread here. Like,
Yeah.
it's remarkable. My fiance and I were having this conversation yesterday because I'm finding that milk started bothering me, and so I'm looking for alternative things to put in my coffee because I don't like black coffee.
Mm.
And I've tried so many different things. And yesterday, I read how to make a healthy a pumpkin spice latte, and I'm reading this, and I go, "Oh, cool! I got all those ingredients." And so I go to put in like fake milk, nut milk of some sort. I think it was like an almond something
Almond,
mixed. And one of the things he said is you got to make sure that whatever nut milk you're using has no more than 3 ingredients. And I look at the label and it's got like 30 ingredients, and one of them is seed oils. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you trying to kill us? This is not supposed to have all of these things,
Yep.
So I'm sure there's a reason, and it's usually about profit or longevity or whatever, right? So they can get it on the shelf longer.
Yep.
So yeah, but I did a lot of research on Italian, like because I have like an uni pizza oven, and I do a lot of
Nice.
homemade pizzas, and so I'm always looking for the perfect dough. And so I've done a lot of research on flour and what's in different flours and stuff, and finding proper flour that isn't enriched or bleached.
Caputo double lot.
That's what I use all the time. I use Caputo all the time. Yeah. But the other thing is like with pastas and stuff too. Like durum wheat as opposed to there's so many different types of things, and it's just like the government ain't taking care of us from a health standpoint. No. You really have to do your own due diligence and research. Anyways, this kind of went off the rails.
No, that's okay. Food's a great topic.
Oh yeah, and especially Italian food. I could talk to you about it all day and not get bored, because it's one of the reasons I love going to Italy. Is every region has their food, every region has their wine, and I want to explore it all every time. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're actually we just got engaged about a month and a half ago.
Congratulations.
And thank you. My fiance is from England, and we're talking about getting married either in England or Italy next year. England because her mother's getting older, and we'd love to have her be able to be there, and she's like, I don't mind going to Italy. So we're talking about maybe Italy because it's my favorite country in the world. And so yeah, we'll see.
Well, good. Wherever you land, I'm sure it'll be enjoyable.
Yeah. Where's your family from in Italy?
Naples, all around Naples. And we still have family in a little town called Scopoli, which is due east of Naples, about 30 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. How often do you get there?
Oh, it's been a few years. It's been, for my wife and I, it's been right before COVID, so that's 6 years.
A while, yeah. I think I was there since COVID. I think I was in Italy maybe 2 or 3 years ago, just for a few days for business.
Yeah.
But so last we spoke about work. You were on tour with Boston, and what a cool first tour. Like, I mean, it was somewhere, maybe at the top, right?
It was a bit surreal. I was 18 years old. Torch, my mentor, used to be as his ground rigger. I got accustomed to getting yelled at from 110 feet in the air. Um, it was a learning experience, and I learned a lot of different disciplines. He would, if we were done putting the rig up, which at that time was 12 or 14 points, who knew it was nothing compared to 70, 80,
Oh my
120
God.
points
Today
today,
it's insane.
Yeah. And so we'd have time. We'd have time after the rig was up, and he'd tell me, get over there, help him stack PA. Get over there and help him push bag gear on stage. And so I learned quite a few different disciplines from Torch mentoring or bossing me around, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Kicking your ass
kicking
around
my
the
ass
stage.
around.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But it certainly created opportunities for me early on. As I learned many disciplines about what it takes to get in a building, on a stage, up and running, got me into stage management pretty early.
Okay.
After that tour went forever. It seemed to be. I think
I think
you
it's
go
still going.
almost.
Yeah.
And I wound up. Sammy Hagar was our opening act for about 10 months, I want to say, on and off. And a lot of us wound up getting hired from Sam. So through the early 80s, I spent time with Sam, became a stage manager for him prior to his Van Halen days.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, getting into it early also got me into some level of management early,
Yeah.
and almost ever since about 85.
So how old
Uh,
were you when you became a stage manager? In your early 20s, right?
23.
Wow.
Yeah, 23.
That's impressive. It sounds like one of the things I hear, I get to talk to a lot of people who were sort of at the foundation of our industry, really. And one of the things I hear over and over again is just that can-do attitude of, like, say yes and then go figure it out,
No, exactly.
And it
Exactly.
sounds like you did the exact same thing, and that ends up making you a lot of friends and getting your phone number pretty popular among whether
Yeah.
it's artists or managers or whatever.
Well, exactly. And a few years ago, I spoke and did a little session, a little breakout session on what they called breaking and entering. It
Okay.
was about how to get into the business. The graphics that I used were kind of comical because coming from Providence, Rhode Island, and being Italian descent, we knew a lot about breaking and entering around the town. So,
Yeah.
but we the seminar was a few different topics on for up and coming. Some of my panel were local labor companies, a female tour manager, and a well-seasoned production manager. We talked about different aspects about breaking and entry, being in the right place at the right time, taking
Yeah.
all the calls. Don't The minute you stop taking calls from folks, you go to the bottom of the list. I mean, it's just you got to stay active, especially when you're first started.
Yeah.
Possibly working at a local theater or arena, being a runner, anything that got you close to the business was certainly a factor in breaking and entering.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, again, it starts with a particular attitude. Like, it
yeah,
starts with an attitude, and I'm going to really try hard to avoid picking on younger people today. But one of the things, and even my own son, I struggle with this sometimes, like, they don't necessarily automatically have that, oh, let me give you a hand attitude, right? Like, it's all very structured and very compartmental these days.
I was going to
And
use the exact word.
yeah, I mean, it's very compartmental. So I was given this set of tasks to do. I'm going to do those, and then I'm going to go play PlayStation or something, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
just how it goes, right? And so I've pushed since probably he was 10 years old to push my own son out of that type of mentality. And he does really well with it some days, not so well other days. But it's just a weird cultural thing that didn't exist when we were young. You hung around until the gig was over, right?
Yeah.
Until
Oh,
the truck
exactly.
was loaded, door was
Exactly.
closed, and it was pulling away, and now it's playtime or whatever, right? So So yeah, I mean that's probably one of the big changes that you've witnessed over the years is just the transition from sort of that old school way of doing things to where we're at today. And there's a lot of good about where we're at today too. So I'm
Sure.
not just knocking
No,
people or
I agree.
processes, but it's
I
different.
do my best not to say this is how we've done it for the past 47 years, because that certainly creates a blockade for any young personnel
Agreed.
coming through,
Yeah,
but
agreed.
there are some noticeable practices uh, with the up and coming versus the
Yeah.
it goes the other way too. You get some older grumpy fellas out there that this is how we do it,
Yeah.
and are not open
True.
to learning new things.
Mainlight, a trusted name in dry hire lighting and stage equipment rentals. Whether you're lighting a theater show, producing a major concert, or building out a broadcast set, Mainlight delivers the gear you need to make your vision a reality. They offer a massive inventory of the latest moving lights, control consoles, trusses, LED fixtures, and durable IP65 rated gear that's perfect for both indoor and outdoor environments. From small scale productions to massive stadium tours, Mainlight is known across the industry as the partner you trust with the gear you want. But that's not all. Mainlight also offer new equipment sales from your favorite brands and used gear pulled direct from their rental fleet. Every used item is rigorously maintained and backed by a 60-day depot warranty, giving you confidence and value in every purchase. With 3 strategically located facilities in Teterboro, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, and Las Vegas, Nevada, you get nationwide access and the responsiveness of a local provider. Explore their rental inventory, request a custom quote, or browse their sales offerings online today at mainlight.com. Yeah.
It goes both ways.
But you know what, though? I use some of that stuff as material to when I'm talking to younger people. So, like, for example, if I'm talking to a young person who wants to become a touring lighting designer or lighting operator or whatever, and I see some of those newer habits, I might say to him, okay, so let me ask you, how do you handle, these few different scenarios? And then I'll say, well, are you familiar with Cosmo Wilson? And he'll say, yeah, I know. I've heard of him. I read some stories about him in Live Design magazine or something. And I'll say, well, you know that Cosmo got there because he said yes to everything. And if you don't believe me, go listen to my podcast number, whatever number it is, and you'll hear Cosmo telling you that right out of his own mouth, that I said yes to everything. And I just went and figured it out to the best of my ability. And if I felt like it was a safety issue or something, I might go to the production manager and say, hey, I kind of made a mistake volunteering to do this because I've never done it before and I don't want to get hurt and I don't want to hurt anybody else. So can I either get some education or maybe replace me with someone who knows what they're doing? But, like, I use that information to tell younger people about, if you want to rise above, the people around you, here's the ways to do it, is not to make yourself invisible, but make yourself visible in a very positive way. Like,
Sure.
I finished the job that I was doing. Have you got anything else that you'd like me to take care of? That's the great attitude to have.
Yeah. Well, I do remember it was probably about 1986. Had about 3 years of stage and
I
production
don't remember
management. You don't remember that?
1986.
Yeah.
I don't remember 1986, John. It was a good year, but I don't
It
remember.
was a good year.
Yeah.
A stage and production management gig wasn't available, and of course, those of us that are still touring, we just have this feeling that we have to work for whatever reason. Where it's not always money; it's just sometimes you just feel like if it's my last movie, if the phone doesn't ring or something. So I took a gig. I was very friendly with the folks in San Francisco at the time. Nocturne, Nightmare Productions. It was Journey's management company.
Yeah.
And so I was close with them, and they called one day and said, hey, we got a lighting crew chief gig. Do you want to do it? It's for a Loverboy tour in 86. I said, sure, I'll do it. And, it was income. It was a paycheck.
Yeah.
And I remember running into someone that I had run into on the tour. They go, "Oh, you're a lighting guy now?" I said, I'm whatever will keep propelling me forward.
Yeah.
And I think some of that may be gone. I don't want to say that as a blanketed statement, but now because of the formal training
Yeah.
and there's young folks graduating from schools like Full Sail or I want to say it's the Crass is the one in Phoenix, I want to
Yeah.
say.
But even just regular schools, like traditional schools now have,
Uh,
classes
classes
on
on
moving
production.
lights
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
lighting consoles
Yeah.
and audio
Indeed.
engineering and stuff.
Which is, in my opinion, possibly what has created the specialization or the compartmentalization in that
Yeah.
they come out of school going, I'm a lighting designer. I
Yeah.
go, how about being a truck loader first?
Yeah.
That'll
True.
teach you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
their expectations are set so high. Plus, again,
yeah,
another thing about today is that everyone's special.
yeah,
Johnny, you're special.
yeah.
So everyone comes out thinking they're a lighting designer when they haven't designed anything yet,
Right, right.
other than a test at school or whatever. But I think part of the problem or not problem, but part of the cause of compartmentalization today is really also around how technical the gear has become. Because
Yeah.
like I remember when I was playing in bands in the, would it be late 70s, early 80s, I could walk up to a Soundcraft 24 channel board and be able to figure out how to make it sound half decent.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't that difficult. I don't even know how to turn a console on today, an audio console. I mean, and I'm looking for the outboard rack with all the EQs and stuff, and it doesn't exist. It's all plugins and all this stuff that I don't understand. Like, I don't have any idea what Dante is or how it works or all of that stuff, And so I think it's just like, for you to become a lighting crew chief today would be a whole different challenge than it was in the mid 80s when there were no moving lights yet, or very few. And if you did have moving lights, you had Verilight and they had their own crew.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, being a lighting crew chief, I'm not saying it was easy, but it was a lot more easy to figure out than it is today.
Oh, sure.
With, like, I mean, you got to be an IT guy too. The networking that's going on in rigs today because of the number of channels that are being used is just, you got to be a networking expert as well as a lighting guy, as well as a digital this and that,
Elation Lighting presents the Rebel Profile, a powerful high-output LED moving head with dynamic color mixing with high CRI and rugged IP65 protection. Unleash the untamed power of the Rebel Profile with explosive output, uncompromising precision, and audacious projection that shatters conventions, all in a packed 500-watt package. The Rebel Profile delivers scene-wide color mixing, variable CTO, and a 7-position color wheel with high CRI filters and UV options. Elation's Rebel Profile harnesses powerful visuals with rotating and fixed gobos, dual rotating prisms, and high-speed iris. With an IP65 outdoor rating, it enables designers to create captivating experiences in the harshest outdoor conditions. Featuring a customizable logo plate, the Rebel series lets you brand every moment. Bold, distinct, and unmistakably yours. Break free from the status quo.
So
you speak about the audio console and not being able to turn it on. My wife and I own a restaurant plus a 250-seat venue in Northern Nevada.
yeah.
And we have a digital M32, I think it is, a Midas console. And talk about not being able to turn it on. I fall into that category.
Yeah.
Here I am in management when it comes to touring. But I think the key now with management and leadership, it used to be at that point, I want to say when I was in the sweet spot of my production management career, if you will, still learning, still pushing boxes. Everybody did jump in and do different things. And with the specialization now, I think we're fortunate as production managers to have some really knowledgeable crew chiefs that really understand more than their little
Yeah.
little
Well,
space, you
yeah,
know,
because
even though they're specializing.
right. You didn't just do one thing really
Yeah,
well or whatever. Like I remember, I think it was Howard Ungerleider who told me that he used to do settlements for Rush in the early
I'm
days,
sure.
you know, the
I'm
lighting
sure.
designer. And half the time he was lighting designer, production manager. He
Yep.
drove the van
Yeah.
and he did settlement, you know,
Yep.
and it's like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But I know a lot of LDs who were in that position where they
Oh,
handled
sure.
settlement. Maybe just to make sure they got paid. I don't know, but yeah, it is a different world. It's much more corporate now. There's a lot more money involved, which
Yep.
means you're going to have more sort of experts or like instead of generalists, like many of the touring people were back in the early days. Today, you do have more expertise and stuff too. But again, I think that it's created a version of I don't want to call it laziness, but in a sense, it kind of is laziness. Like when my particular job is done, I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to. And like, so if you see two lighting designers standing next to each other, one guy's, 30 and one guy's 60, I think they're going to have a different approach to that. The 60-year-old is going to be standing around until the truck doors close. And the 30-year-old might already be off at a restaurant with his girlfriend or with his buddies or something. And it just is a different mentality.
Yeah, I agree.
Seems like it anyway.
I agree. The interesting part about settlements now is they're all electronic. It used to be as a tour manager, which I've done as well. You'd be in a settlement room for hours, even if there was big discrepancies, counting the drop, counting the ticket drop.
Yeah.
To make sure that the promoter wasn't stealing income from you.
Yeah.
So that's all changed. I mean, that's all changed with it's all electronic. And of course, you got one, for the most part, very few promoters now. And the depth of these promoters is pretty clear and trustworthy.
Yeah, Live
in
Nation's
theory,
not trying to nickel and dime you on additional expenses,
no,
probably.
they're not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But,
No, I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. So when did you transition like from the stage management into other aspects of management?
So interestingly enough, in about 1987, I was in Italy with Sinatra and got home, and I was working for 3 bands at the same time. I think I was production manager for Night Ranger at the time, production manager for a band from England called The Outfield, bringing them over to the States. And I was a site coordinator for Nocturne on the Sinatra tour. I got home.
By the way, being in Italy with Sinatra, for an Italian guy.
Yeah, that
like,
was
okay. You don't have to pay me. I just want to do this.
It was almost that.
Yeah,
it was almost like that. But I got home within 48 hours of my first son being born, and I said, "Boy, by this time I'm in it 10 years, almost 10 years." And I said, "I got to figure out somehow to stay home."
Yeah.
So I started a set construction company. We were building risers and things of that nature, right here in northern Nevada. And our friends at Nocturne, who was then run by the late Herbie Herbert. I don't know if you've heard that name.
Yes,
Herbie managed Journey.
I remember.
So Herbie was a friend, and he said, "I want you to start building some stuff for me." And I think we built some Michael Bolton stuff, some other bands that he managed, Great White at the time, a few other bands. And then what happened is Nocturne then purchased all the lighting from Tate Towers. When Tate Towers was a lighting company, when Michael Tate was a lighting company.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, Herbie calls me. He says, 'Hey, Grinder, something's changed. We've got to give our set construction business to Tate, and we're taking their lighting construction, but I still want you to build small stuff for me if need be.'" Yeah. So I started the set construction company. One thing led to another. Tate, of course, was on this trajectory because they were and are one of the finest set fabricators ever,
Of course. Yeah.
ever. And anyway, my set construction business. And one day, Herbie calls me. He says, "We just got MC Hammer. Tate doesn't want to do it. You want to do it?" And we said, "Sure, we'll build it." And our first very large stage set, multiple truck stage set. That was 88, I want to say.
Wow.
So I then went into set construction business and opened a business here in Northern Nevada and then one in Nashville, Tennessee a few years later. And I won't say we weren't the highly technological set construction company like Tate,
Yeah.
but we were very well-known theatrical set construction company. It was called Stagecraft, and we were Stagecraft Nevada, Stagecraft Nashville. And we wound up coining the phrase MTV to Mickey Mouse, Pink Floyd to the Pope, because those are the sets that we built in our
Wow.
15, 18-year tenure.
That's pretty cool.
And then early 2000s, we had a unfortunate demise, too big, too fast kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I went back into tour management. So over those 15 years, while I did not tour as a production manager, I spent a lot of time interacting with them, production managers, and spent an awful lot of time.
So you didn't do a single tour over that period of time?
No, I did actually. I was a consultant to MTV and their touring properties.
Okay.
So I would be out a lot. The notion of staying home, because I had a young family, didn't quite come to fruition.
Yeah.
I found myself in Nashville a lot, in New York a lot, with the MTV and Viacom properties, because we started doing consulting to touring properties for MTV, VH1, Nickelodeon.
Okay.
And so I still toured, but I wouldn't say I toured. I'd go out, traveled, startup dates and things like that. And we grew the company from my garage basically to an $11 million a year company. And back in the 90s was a feat.
Yeah, that's
it was a feat. Yeah.
That's a lot of steel.
It's a lot. Well, a lot of aluminum.
Aluminum. True.
We got chastised for using steel in the rock and roll business.
Right. Yeah. So you came back out of that in the early 2000s.
2000. So a manager from Sonoma, Bruce Cohn, who managed the Doobie Brothers for 40 years, and managed Night Ranger, and managed Bruce Hornsby, and managed Ambrosia, Olivia Newton-John. I wound up kind of helping him with some of these acts for different projects. One became the Doobie Brothers, and then on and off for about 17 years, I tour managed or production managed the Doobie Brothers for Bruce Cohn.
Yeah.
And then that was up until, so that brought me to, 2016, I want to say. What is it? Yeah, 2015, I think. I had a little change in my life. I lost a grandson in a car accident.
Oh, no.
And so I took some time away from the Doobie Brothers and wound up getting a call from Peter Frampton's camp, and I've been with them ever since.
Wow.
So,
jeez.
Yeah, so about 10 years.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy working with legacy acts.
Yeah.
Because we're typically, 2-3 trucks, maybe, 10 a.m. load-ins.
Less stress.
Yeah, it is. I really respect these production managers that are out doing, 12 to 20 trucks. My friend,
Marty
Chad
Hahn,
Guy. Marty.
Telling me last year when he did all these stadium shows, and he was like, I'm exhausted. Like from the stage to my office in the stadium could be, hundreds of yards or whatever. And I'm doing it 100 times a day on multiple shows for, an entire year of stadium shows. It's exhausting. you know?
Well, I mean, a dear friend, Chad Guy, who you probably know. I'm not sure if you've interviewed Chad.
I don't know Chad.
He's from Canada. He's was a promoter rep up there. He wound up in the last 5 or 6 years, from Kiss he goes to Morgan Wallen, which is, one of the biggest shows out
Yeah,
there.
it's huge.
And he does a great job, but I'm sure, he's got 2 daughters that are growing, and sure it takes a toll out of it. But he's a great production manager, but he's doing these stadium shows with, I don't know, 30 trucks probably.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Well, Marty last year, I think he had Olivia, what's her name? Olivia
Rodrigo. Yeah.
And Beyonce and what's her name? The Colombian Lebanese one. Shakira.
Yeah.
And something else too. Like he had all these stadium shows going at the same time practically.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're a madman.
He is. He works a lot, and he still does a few of the legacy acts, I believe, that are still out there. But
Stevie Nicks or
Fleetwood Mac,
depending on what they're touring as at that time. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, it is.
So
it is.
Peter Frampton, though, like I remember one time, Donnie Carone from Upstaging, I'm guessing.
Sure.
Yeah. Donnie, one time I was talking to him saying, you got to get bored of doing James Taylor every year. This was back when every single year he went out with James Taylor. And he said, are you kidding? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, number one, we stay in the same hotel that James stays in. And, so it's not like James is at the Ritz and we're at the, Holiday Inn down the road or whatever. He treats us amazing. He's an amazing guy. It's a great crowd. It's pretty low stress. We can do whatever we want as long as, it's not broken or something. And he said, I wish all tours were like this. So,
well, speaking, I'd have to concur. I mean, Peter, and of course, our touring in the last 4 years has changed. Peter is battling a muscular disease that prevents him from, but still playing like crazy. It's amazing. But he treats us so well, and he really respects each and every one of us for what we do. He really, and I don't speak badly against any other person that I've worked for, but Peter, once you build a rapport with him, he trusts you and believes you to be in charge of the business that he's hired you to be in charge of.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I mean, he's set in his ways. He knows what he wants. He communicates it to you. But yeah, we're in Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton's with Peter. We don't stay at separate hotels, rarely.
Yeah.
The busing, we're not 12 people on a bus anymore. We're 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And it's what I think. Yeah, I think it's what'll allow me to stay out there until maybe 70. I don't.
Not even just allow you, but inspire you.
Inspire me, exactly.
It's still enjoyable being out with, and he's just a class guy. Like,
he's a class guy.
So what exactly happened with? Because I remember, and I might be remembering this wrong, because again, I'm getting older, but didn't he like completely retire and stop touring a few years ago, and then sort of started it up again?
So 2018 was when, I believe it was 2018, that it was detected that this could be very problematic for him.
Yeah.
And so he did a farewell tour.
Right. That's what I'm remembering.
What he chose to do in the interim was really pay attention to this myositis muscular, degenerative muscular disease, and worked with some really major pioneers that were studying this, and he got involved with that organization. I believe there's been some treatments that he found to be helpful, and he realized one day, hey, I really can still play. I might have a little bit of difficulty with some lower extremities, but I really can still play.
Mm-hmm.
So we came back out, and I want to say it's 2021. Came back out, and late 2021. And we've been doing these short little stints. I mean, we do 3 weeks at a time, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And he fares very well. I mean,
is his disease managed now, or is it still progressing, or like how does that all work?
I don't know exactly. I mean, I believe it's managed. I believe that he pays an awful lot of attention to what helps keep it managed: diet,
Course,
exercise, his training. He's got this beautiful service dog that he spends a lot of time with. He has grandchildren. I think 2 grandchildren at the moment, perhaps third one on the way. Really, really, really life-changing things for him that I believe keep him just ahead of it.
It's funny that sometimes, not funny, but it's interesting that sometimes it takes something like that to just change everything. Like you get sustenance, you sustain your life longer because something like that happens a little earlier in your life and gives you a wake-up call and makes you change your lifestyle and start eating better and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I've known a lot of people who had, you know, a minor heart attack, and if they didn't have the minor heart attack, they probably would have got diabetes and 15 other things and cancer and everything else, because it's all those lifestyle things contribute to all those different diseases, right? And so once one of them gives you a wake-up call and you completely change your lifestyle, you know, sometimes that gives you another 20 years or more, you know? So, yeah.
I was at an industry conference, must have been 5 years ago, and they were offering a CPR breakout room where you can go get certified for CPR. So I did it.
Yeah, I remember that. Which conference was that? Because I remember that.
It was, what do they used to call it?
Was it the one
Not
in
per-
not the one in
Yeah.
Palm Springs?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Jesus, I should remember the name of it. But
It's
I don't
changed
right
now to where Mario Educate and his company, OSA,
Right.
they manage it now. What was it called before that?
I can't
LPS? LP Live Production Summit, LPS.
Yeah, that is it. You're right.
Yep. So they did the CPR class, and the instructor started off by saying, any of you that work for legacy artists, even if they stopped their vices with drugs and alcohol 30 years ago, what they did to themselves is likely to take a toll on them at some point, and the CPR will be necessary.
Yeah.
And while, thank God, you know, a lot of this didn't happen on the road during the show or something like that, but you could see where these artists that did beat themselves up in the 70s, maybe even into the 80s, what has happened to them certainly is taking a toll. Certainly what they put themselves through. And I'm happy I've not had to pull out a defibrillator or use the CPR training.
Not yet anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, then there's Keith Richards.
Yeah.
You know, like that guy.
There's the anomaly.
Or, you know, a guy you mentioned earlier, Sammy Hagar. I mean, the guy loves tequila still. He loves rum, and he shows it every day. He has a good time in life, and yet he still sings like a bird, still tours like crazy, and works like crazy.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. I love guys like that. I love, you know, Steven Tyler is, what is he now, 76 or something?
6, yeah, I think so.
And I mean, I don't know if you've seen him sing recently, but he did that thing with Youngblood a couple weeks ago or something. Amazing. Like the guy just sounds incredible, looks like a rock star at 76 years old. He still looks like Steven Tyler, jumps around and does all the stuff he does. You know, so I don't know, like I think the bad thing that this is saying to youth today is drugs and alcohol are really good for you, and you should keep doing it because it's going to make you look like you're 40 when you're 70, you know, because that's what you see from these guys. But I think that they just have whether it's a strong regimen somewhere else that's just offsetting all of that stuff or whatever, because, you know, there's certainly nothing good about drugs or alcohol from a health standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I also think there's some of these artists like Tyler, you know, that just understand their role as leaders. You know, they just understand it. I mean, they may not have been successful at practicing it as far as iconic leaders, but you know, a funny story about Steven. My wife and I were at the CMAs I don't know, a few years ago. The Doobie Brothers were invited to play at the CMAs, and we had this dressing room that we shared with Tyler, Garth Brooks, Doobie Brothers, Keith Urban, and Tyler was hilarious, and you know, commanded the room quite well. But the next morning, my wife and I were getting on a plane to go to Boston, see my family, and Tyler's up front, and he remembered us. He was, wow. Hey, you guys, what are you going to Boston for? And he carried on this conversation as we were getting on the plane, and we kind of held up the line a little bit. He was getting in first class with his dog, and my wife and I were right behind him.
Yeah.
Not in first class, but, you know, not too far back. But his mind, it just goes to explain, goes to say what, you know, those that can keep their mind in order.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, how in the world would he remember us?
Yeah.
You know,
that's impressive.
He did.
With
yeah,
the
it was
number
impressive.
of people that he meets.
Exactly.
It's not just forgetting like we all do.
Right.
But it's the number of people that he meets on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Who feel like they're important, but to him it's just another 10,000 people today or whatever. Like the fact that he'd remember you is a pretty big deal.
And not only that, there was a discussion of us going to Maui for New Year's Eve, because my neighbor and dear friend is Dave Mason, he and his wife, and
that's helpful.
yeah. And so anyway, we've been friends for a while, and since they moved here 12 years ago. And anyway, somehow the discussion got, are you going to New Year's Eve for this event that happens New Year's Eve? And he remembered that. He says, hey, we're going to see you in Maui on New Year's Eve. And I'm going, how does he remember this? It was had to be cool. 100 people in the dressing room last night.
You must have done something to impress him, obviously, because he picked you out of a crowd.
My wife.
Oh, really?
She looks a lot better than I do, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Great person. She can light up a room.
Well, that's
like the rest of them.
That's like my fiance. You know, my fiance is basically the same age as me, but she looks 25 years younger than me, or more, and she's stunningly beautiful. So you know,
there you go.
People talk to me now that wouldn't have talked to me before because of her. You know, and so hey. If it's helpful like that, you know, I'm certainly not going to lend them out to you or anything, but you know, if it's helpful in that sort of a conversation or whatever, that's a great thing. So yeah, I think for me it's the same reason.
Yeah.
But so you know, we talked a lot about young people, old people, etc. And by the way, thank you so much that you're joining us for the Dining with Dinosaurs thing this year. That's it's going to be such a blast. Like I looked over this list a couple days ago. LDI sent me an updated list of the people who have signed up for it. And I'm just like, wow, what a group of people this is.
I couldn't agree more.
It's awesome. And there's still people banging on the door saying they want in. Like we actually have a waiting list right now for some people on that, because LDI, of course, because of costs and things, they're going to clip our wings at some number. And we keep trying to push it 3 more, 5 more. Come on, let's go to this. Because, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of legends in our industry.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is about people like yourself who are willing to have conversations and share stories and share teachings with younger people, because our industry can only be sustained if we bring more people into it. And COVID was a great lesson in that. You know, we didn't have a strong bench. And so when shit hit the fan, we didn't have a pool to dig from. And it became very problematic, where shows were struggling to get enough bodies just to keep the show or get the show out the door or whatever. And so we have to create a stronger bench. We have to have better coaching and training and mentoring to bring people into the industry. And like you said at the very beginning of this podcast, you said your parents thought you were joining the circus, and I think that that's still a bit of a sort of it's a feeling that people get when you say, "Hey, why don't you join the touring industry or go out on a tour?" And I even said it to my son, "Hey, do you want to gain some experience in the world? I can talk to a few friends and get you out on a tour doing something." And he's like, "Well, why would I want to do that?" And he thinks that you sleep in the back seats of vans and that people are stoned and drunk all the time, and he doesn't do drugs or drink for some crazy reason. I don't even understand it myself. And just that perception is that it is a bunch of gypsies, touring in vans, and it's like the circus coming to town, right? And they all rape and pillage all the girls, and it's different now. It's very different now.
I also think the term tour has gotten to be used so loosely. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, my wife and I have a 250-seat venue, and we buy acts of all different sizes and kinds, and they use the term tour. This act is on tour. Well, because they're going from Sacramento to Reno doesn't mean they're on tour.
Yeah.
I think the term touring has also been kind of elevated to a pretty loose term.
Broad. Yeah,
very broad. Very broad.
Yeah. So your venue is in Tahoe?
We are in Carson City, Nevada. The name of the place, my wife and I have had a second home in Nashville, Tennessee since 94, 95, I want to say. And so we watched this Nashville culture change.
Yeah.
And while we liked the change up until recent. I think it's grown a little too much,
but
a little
too crazy now.
So we opened a venue in Northern Nevada called the Nashville Social Club, which has got some private dining. It's a restaurant, 250-seat venue, a little bit on the concept of a city winery kind of space. And we've been open 3 years, and we have acts up and coming baby acts. We have legacy acts. We just had Pablo Cruz for 2 nights, Booker T. Jones for 2 nights. Yeah, so we do all kinds of stuff, and it's very intimate, 250 seats.
Interesting.
And yeah.
Is it hard to get acts in a venue like that, though, when it's sort of in the middle of nowhere and it's because again, normally when you have a venue and you want to start getting acts, they're on tour and they go, okay, yeah, we can route that on our tour, and it makes a lot of sense. But a 250-seat venue in the middle of nowhere, it sounds like it would be harder to route acts.
We actually do about 60 shows a year.
Interesting.
So
wow, that's pretty good.
Of all different levels.
Yeah.
And we wind up finding Bay Area heading back east via maybe Salt Lake. Right. So we're a good stop pre-Salt Lake City. There's maybe 1 or 2 others.
Yeah.
Stops. So it's actually we're the Reno Tahoe market, and we're a good size for baby acts, or like I said, legacy acts that could do 400 seats. We'll maybe do 2 shows with them.
Interesting. So is there a Nashville Social Club in Nashville too?
No.
That's interesting.
There isn't.
Yeah.
No, it's the concept was to build 5 of these on the West Coast, but we're still trying to figure out how to manage 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, big cojones opening a venue right after COVID, I mean, obviously things
I'm reminded of that.
Yeah, it's, opening a venue right after all the venues got crushed, and got paid well by being crushed in many cases too. But that's big cojones right there. I like that. I like it. That's very cool. Well, that's
maybe smaller brains.
Yeah. So you've told me about Stagecraft and you've told me now about Nashville Social Club, but what about ChiliBop? First of all, where's the name come from?
So my grandson, his name was Chili, and as I said, we lost him in 2015.
That's terrible, by the way.
So that's what I named my company, because I used to call him the Bopper. So that's where ChiliBop came from.
Oh, wow. Very personal.
Yeah, most of what I did with ChiliBop was consulting to things. I spent many years consulting to a few wineries up in Sonoma for the little festivals that they would do.
Oh, cool.
I spent some time with a company called Base Hologram
Yeah.
out of LA. They were owned by the Becker family, which used to be Pace, before Live Nation and Clear Channel.
Yeah.
It was Pace Concerts, Pace Motorsports. That was the Becker family. So Brian Becker was the president of that company. And so he hired me as vice president of operations, but I spent most of the time as in doing that. It was a startup developmental company, and COVID kind of crushed the hologram business.
Yeah.
So,
So Base Hologram did what?
developed holograms of legacy, mainly deceased artists.
So like Michael Jackson could go out on tour.
Exactly. Our
So they're behind
properties.
that technology.
Exactly. And it's our properties that we had licensed to do was Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly, Whitney Houston, Maria Callas, the opera singer we had. And we did these full-length concerts. In fact, we were in Europe on March 9th, I want to say, right before the shutdown of all the airports.
Yeah.
With a Whitney Houston tour, and we got everybody home safely, thank God.
Yeah.
Like,
and how good was the technology? Like, were people fooled?
Yes. The suspension of disbelief, but it only lasts a very short time. After you got the fourth song in, you go, I get it. And I think it kind of tapered off as the show went on.
Yeah.
The opening numbers were fabulous. The effects and this hologram appearing. Maria Callas, for instance.
Yeah.
It was an opera show, so it had a full orchestra. And Maria, as a hologram, would walk on stage from stage right to center stage. And the effects that we did, the Foley effects, her footsteps, because an opera is supposed to be an acoustic shot. But we used amplification, and the acoustic, the Foley, we would track her steps as she moved across stage, so it would pan.
Oh, interesting.
Those kinds of things made you a believer. But you get 30 minutes into the show and you go, okay, I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as a special effect, I saw a special effect done with Queen, where Brian May and Freddie did a duo together.
I saw that. That was
and it was believable. It was it was breathtaking.
It didn't need to be believable because you weren't trying to. Because you had, when I saw it, it was Paul Rogers was touring with them, and so you had Paul Rogers doing most of the vocals. But then I think Brian and Freddie did. I don't remember.
Love of My Life. I think
it was Love of My Life. Yeah, and it was just beautiful. Like, if you didn't have a tear in your eye, there was something wrong with you. But this was in the very early days of them doing that.
Sure.
But the video of, I don't even believe it was a hologram at the time. I think it was just
it was probably a LED.
Yeah, it was just him on a screen singing along with Brian, and Brian looking up at him the whole time and stuff. And it was beautiful. But now you're actually trying to get, artists that you're calling legacy artists, but they're deceased.
Duets.
Right? Yeah. You're getting them doing duets. You're getting them, did you ever do anything with Paul Dexter on this?
Paul Dexter. Why do I know that?
Lighting designer, worked with loads of different acts. He did the movie Rockstar. He did some movies and lots of different bands. But he did a Dio hologram.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's why I know the name.
Yeah.
So the Dio hologram was not us.
Yeah.
But there was a Dio and a Zappa one that was done.
I saw the Zappa one as well. Yeah.
That might be the company that Paul worked with.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, well, and I don't know where it's at right now, but I know Paul was also working on one with Canadian band Triumph.
Oh.
And where it was a little bit different, though, because you kind of had holograms playing or acting or whatever you want to call it, creating a visual for a band that was sort of behind the curtain that was actually playing the stuff. And that band in itself was sort of an A-list of musicians as well. And so I don't know where that's at. I was actually talking with Gil, the drummer in Triumph, about it. And it was meant to go out sometime this year, but I don't know whether it's a sales problem or what it is. Who knows? But, to do things like that are that ambitious, you obviously have to have a buyer. And,
indeed.
And,
well, what happened was after COVID, promoters, of course, needed sure thing kind of things to put out there.
They weren't in the money-losing mood.
So a hologram attraction was not appealing to them at the time.
Yeah. I think it's coming, though. Like, to me, the ABBA thing is a big deal. And the length of run that it's had already, and it isn't showing any slowing down here. To see more of that, I think, is going to be it's going to happen. Like, you're going to see a Beatles show at some point. You're going to see
likely,
a Led Zeppelin show at some point, a Stones show at some point, because these bands have fans that go for decades and decades and decades. And, like, go to a Stones or a Pink Floyd show back in the day, at least, and you'd see, I remember, I saw Pink Floyd, I don't remember 90-something, 94 maybe.
That was the Division Bell tour that my company,
exactly.
Stagecraft built it.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
With Brickman?
Yeah, Mark. Mark, actually, I brought Mark on to do one of our hologram tours. He was the lighting designer. Yeah.
I love Mark. Mark is a mad genius, but he's got such a big heart, and he's such a good guy. And
mad genius is a good explanation.
He is a mad genius
description.
Oh, I mean, he's perfect in that role. That's exactly what he is. And if you don't give him room to be a mad genius, he's not going to deliver well, and he's going to be very grumpy, and he's going to be a bad fit for whatever you're putting him into. So if you've got a vanilla box, don't put Mark Brickman in it. He's not going to
agree.
He's going to drive you nuts. But if you've got a box of all kinds of different colors and styles, and tell you what, here's the budget, stick within that and do whatever you want, that guy's going to create something ingenious.
When we did the holograms, I was able to bring on some really prominent designers. Brought Mark in to do Maria Callas, and then a 40 some odd year friend. We were the last two people hired on Boston. Leroy Bennett. I brought him on to do Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
And
you must have had some budgets if you're bringing in Brickman and Roy Bennett.
We did at the time. It was a startup. No. We did at the time
until you spent it all. Then your budgets went down a little.
Yeah.
It happened.
But Roy and I, Roy was a Rhode Islander as well.
Yeah.
So funny story. My uncle was a security guard in the mall, and Roy worked in a clothing store early in his career. And my uncle said, "Hey, there's this guy with purple hair. You need to meet him." And I thought, this was even before Boston.
Yeah.
So it was 77 maybe. And I said, "Oh, yeah, someday." And never met him till here we are in rehearsals for Boston. And here comes this purple hair lighting tech, and it's Roy Bennett.
Really?
Yeah, 1978.
So he was on that same tour with you.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And was that his first tour as well?
Possibly. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we were the last two guys hired, I think.
Wow.
He was hired by Polico Lighting, and I was part of the rigging crew. So
he's certainly gone on to do some things.
Oh,
and continues to. He's a
beautiful
really
career
designer.
Yeah, brilliant
designer, and quite a fashionista now too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
always has been.
Yeah. He's got some interesting fashion for sure.
Yeah,
but nice guy.
Yes, he is.
So, what else was I going to ask you? I just had something all lined up to ask you, and I forgot. Oh, what I was saying about Pink Floyd earlier, the Division Bell thing, is I remember where my seats were, and there were a group of 4 kids, like probably 17, 18 years old, in front of me, 2 girls, 2 guys, probably on date night or something, I don't know. And they knew the words to every single song.
Yeah, wasn't
and it
that
just
wild?
blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, these songs are from probably before your parents were born, let alone you, you know? And that is wild. It just was amazing to me, and I loved it. So that's why I think the whole hologram thing, or whatever technology replaces it at some point, but I think we're going to see Kiss go on forever. I think we're going to see the Stones or Led Zeppelin or the Beatles go on forever. Like, there's going to be a load of these acts that people just don't let disappear, you know? And sort of 2-dimensional movies don't do them justice. You know, you need it to be more 3-dimensional and more of a, like the ABBA thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think there's going to be some real breakthrough technology in that world at some point.
I couldn't agree more. I certainly enjoyed my 3 years of trying to get it up and going.
Yeah.
Uh,
Startups are hard.
Startups are hard, and I
Yeah.
give a lot of credit to those that put their tail out
Well,
there to get bits.
I'm on like my 6th one right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've just launched it, and you know, you're just biting your lip every day, hoping
Yeah.
you know that you run out of excuses before you run out of money, you know, or
Yeah.
run out of you know, naysayers or whatever before you run out of money. And fortunately, the one that we've just launched, it's AI, and it's exactly what the industry needs. It's built. I'm not doing a pitch here. I'm just explaining to you what it is. But it's called GearShare, and it's built around the lack of available inventory in our industry.
Yeah.
That's not a new problem. But basically, instead of having to sit there and go, "Hey, John, you got any of these? Hey, Bob, I need 100 of these. Hey, you know, I need this. I need this. I need this." Instead of all of that, basically on one side, we have people uploading a huge amount of inventory from all over the world into this platform, and it's always searchable and discoverable. And then anywhere on Earth, someone can just type in that I need, you know, 400 X moving lights for these dates in this general vicinity, and it'll tell you what's available everywhere in the world. And it's connecting inventories from wherever, from whatever rental software. It's completely software agnostic. It's actually not, you know, patting my own back. It's something that the industry has needed for 20 years. And it's just the technology wasn't good enough to make it seamless and without friction and simple to use and all of that stuff. And so, yeah, we're pretty proud of it. But you know, again, it's hard. Like my budget was this, and it ended up costing about this, you know. And so there's that pain, and it was supposed to launch in this period of time, and it took this period of time to launch. And so, yeah, stress of startups, and I keep doing it, and I'm too old to be doing startups at this point. So somebody needs to smack me in the head and smarten me up.
Well, we did a restaurant startup, and that's restaurant entertainment startup.
Okay.
I'm looking for someone to smack me in the head.
Yeah. So the restaurant, is this the 250 seat venue as well? It's a restaurant.
Yeah, it's the restaurant's connected to the
Okay.
250. So you could do dinner, not dinner and a show together, but you can come into the restaurant. And the nice part is that the entertainment component fills the restaurant. So we have quite a healthy service on the nights that we have shows.
Yeah.
On the nights that we don't have shows, we're a highly regarded restaurant,
Yeah.
but we're in a marketplace we kind of overbuilt for, I would say.
Yeah.
But if we can get to that delta, like you said, don't run out of excuses before you run out of money.
Yeah.
We'll get over the hump.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I think in a situation like that, like one of the things I loved about and I don't even know if they still do it, but the House of Blues, I know they used to do the Sunday blues brunch or gospel brunch. It was called the Sunday gospel brunch. And I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's amazing. Like, first of all,
we did one.
The food's good, and the Bloody Marys are amazing. Really good.
Yep.
And the gospel acts that they get in there are just tremendously good. And guess what? You're filling a place on a Sunday when you know you had no shot at doing that in the past, perhaps, right? So just weird.
Yeah, we
different
did
things
it.
like
We
that.
did an old school R&B brunch, and we did a gospel brunch, and we every now and then throw them into special events. Because as I said, the market, we're right down in between Reno and Tahoe.
Yeah.
And in the summer, everybody goes to Tahoe. So the Reno, Carson City market slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe some transient stuff, but
Yeah.
we're still learning. 3 years figuring it out.
And what about also like corporate, to get corporate events in there where they've got keynote speakers and stuff like that?
Yep.
And
Our 250 seat venue is perfect for that. It's got full audio visual support with
Yeah.
large screen stuff and multiple televisions and
so create a package with like
Yeah.
a couple of local hotels or something, and where
exactly.
you put a package together and then just start marketing it out to every company out there saying, beautiful destination, venue, half hour from the airport, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah.
Yep.
60% cheaper than doing it in Vegas or Reno.
Sure.
Like that kind of thing might work.
Exactly. You got your marketing chops going there.
I can't help it. Like, people come to me with business problems and instantly I throw 20 ideas at them and they're like, I never thought of that. I never thought of that one. I never thought of that one.
That's a great mind.
It's just how my brain works. When you try to do them all yourself, though, tackle them all on your own, it becomes a miserable life, because you're just endlessly thinking and building and creating and la, la, la. You never get to actually just sit back and spend the fruits that it's bringing you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, did I miss anything? Have we missed?
No, I think that's, I kind of touched on 47 years of all kinds of things. And
you have done a lot. You've done more than the average production manager, stage manager, tour manager.
I think the business, what I like to think about is the fact that I was fortunate to be in the family business, know where to keep an eye on costs, and that kind of thing has made me somewhat valuable to an artist, especially an artist that's, on the tail end of their career where, the paydays aren't as what they used to be. The cost of touring is where it is.
Yeah.
So the ability to manage, be fiscally responsible and not just, hey, we need another truck, or we need another this, or we need another guy or another person on tour. You just start getting, so that fiscal responsibility,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, I think the production managers and tour managers who have business minds are extremely crucial to this industry right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, like, there's all kinds of problems to the sustainability of this industry as a whole, and we keep figuring it out along the way. So this isn't a doomsday speech or anything, but like, even one of the things I mentioned in the intro, which you won't hear until you go back to listen to this, but in the intro, I mentioned the Charlie Kirk thing, not because of any kind of politics or anything, because I don't give a damn what side anybody's on, but as it relates to our industry, are we going to start seeing, Keith Urban playing behind a plexiglass box, or Taylor Swift walking with a dome over her, as she goes out the ramps and stuff, or, like, are we going to need to start really worrying about protecting artists, especially artists like a Kid Rock who have taken a side, or a Beyonce who maybe has taken the other side, and then getting these crazy people with guns who decide, I don't like your views, and therefore I'm going to become a martyr and shoot you, and or a hero to my crowd and shoot you. So, again, I'm not trying to be dark, but it's one of the thoughts that immediately.
No, I don't think it's dark at all. I think it's practical. I mean, a few years ago, Peter's management company, who have a big roster of artists, did this phone-in seminar for all the tour and production managers. Mm-hmm. And they had some security, high-ranking security people that were consultants to special events and political events and all that. And this was right after there was a young that explosion with Ariana, I think it was.
Yeah.
So there was maybe 200 people on the call listening to this, And the kind of things that we were made aware of that we took for granted, for instance, led in a meet and greet, allowing people to carry Sharpies into the meet and greet, their own Sharpie pens.
Yeah.
Because it was discovered that they were taking the felt out and putting razor blades in the Sharpies.
Jesus Christ.
I'm a pretty aware of my surroundings guy.
Never thought
Taught
of that
my
one.
kids, never thought of that one.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a background in martial arts that I don't practice the way I used to. So it makes me a little bit more conscious of my surroundings.
Yeah.
But what we learned was, in a case where someone wants to get to somebody in a public assembly, they're going.
Yeah.
So all your role becomes at that point is to minimize, not prevent.
Yeah. I had a guy on my podcast at one time, British guy, and I can't remember his name right now, but he was a safety expert that was a consultant hired by, whether it was tours or public events or companies or whatever, based on show security, and he started hitting me with some potential hazards, and I was just blown away. Like, it made me never want to go to a show again. I was like, I don't want to be in a crowd. Hell no. When you're telling me all that stuff, I don't want to be in a crowd. And it's just stuff that you didn't think of, like crazy stuff. And you can't get rid of it by just getting rid of guns or by just getting rid of, missile launchers or by just getting rid of, because like, I remember right after 9/11, I was in London when it happened, and I was getting on a plane, and they gave us, in first class, because I got upgraded, they gave us plastic ware on the plane, which they continued to do in first class for a long time. I think they now use metal, if I remember correctly. But I remember just thinking how stupid it was. And I said it to the guy next to me, and he said, well, why? They're just trying to keep you from killing people. And I said, I have a black American Express card in my wallet right now that'll
slice somebody.
Razor sharpen the edge, and it'd be worse than a box cutter, because on a box cutter you'll break the blade. On a titanium American Express card, you're not going to break it. And so I could slice him and him and him and him and him, and the blade's still good and it's still sharp and everything's good, right? So like we make people take off their shoes for years, but other things will always get by. Like, for bad people always find a way.
Absolutely. And that was essentially the whole moral of awareness is minimizing. You could take all these precautions, which you shouldn't let your guard down, but they used an example. Do you remember when President Reagan was shot?
Yeah.
What was that, 1981, 82? The civil service officers immediately raised their guns and were, kind of looking at their surroundings. It's been determined now that the last thing you do is take out anything that makes you a visible target in a large crowd like that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you pull your guns and you're protecting one person, and now you've become a target because
you're getting shot.
You're getting shot at.
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting concept as to what steps are taken to minimize stuff as opposed to prevent, because it's unlikely you will be successful at 100% preventing.
Yeah. Well, I was just, again, thinking about the Charlie Kirk thing, and what made me think about it is I saw a couple days later Trump doing a speech, and he had a bulletproof plexi or whatever it is, box around him.
Yeah.
And that's okay when you got a president or somebody up doing a speech, or a pope or somebody like that who really is a massive target. But what about Keith Urban, or what about Beyonce, or what about whoever? Is that our future? Like, are we going to get to a point where, any high profile person is no longer able to drive down the road in a car with regular windows anymore, or be on a stage without some sort of protection? And what does that look like? How do you get lights, doing a look on a stage when there's all this plexi and stuff? Like, I don't know why my mind went there, but it did.
Yeah, I get it. But take a stadium show like like Taylor Swift's,
Yeah.
the Sphere,
Hmm.
another one.
Yeah.
Your ability to see the artist close up and personal is diminishing.
Yeah.
I mean, and Taylor Swift's show, I did not go to it. I had some of my nieces went to it. Said, yeah, you could barely see her with all the flash and
kidding.
trash going on.
Yeah.
It's if without the big screen. So why not teleport her? Why not put her in a safe environment and teleport her on big screens?
Yeah. Or just even play video, have incredible
Essentially,
LED
yeah.
screens, have incredible
Exactly.
video, just like EDM festivals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
does an EDM festival at some point know whether Tiesto's on the stage or somewhere sitting in a bus,
Right.
not far
Right.
from here or whatever? Like, I think we're going to see more, and we're going to see remote artists, is probably
Yeah.
where it's going to end up. And the show will be for people who want to be together celebrating that artist, but the
Yeah.
artist isn't actually there. The artist is
Right.
piped in live, but they're not actually there live. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where it's going. I don't know. I'm not the audience. Fortunately, I'm not the customer. I'm not the target customer for that product. So
Yeah. Nor am I.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you go back out with Peter?
We have a private in Los Angeles next week with the Who, Doobie Brothers, John Fogerty, Cheap Trick, and Def Leppard.
Sounds like a
It's
rich old white guy's birthday party.
it's not a birthday party. It's a fundraiser for teen mental health awareness. It's a great
Wow.
cause.
That's very good cause.
Yeah, but it's similar. It's somebody's backyard, basically, a big giant
very
backyard.
cool though that they're raising money as opposed to just
And then we
splurging on a Silicon Valley billionaire
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. And then we do a 9 dates beginning October 17th, starting in New Orleans.
Oh, cool. Fun.
Yeah. So yeah, 9 dates before the holidays, fun,
Yeah.
keeps him out there.
Yeah. Good. Well, you enjoy
Yeah.
it, and I look forward to meeting
Thank you,
in
Marcel.
person at
Yeah, I look
REI.
forward to it. So that's what, December 6th? Is that
It is
is that
December
our
6th.
targeted date?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
So
The
that'll-
geese are dining with dinosaurs.
It's
Yep.
funny because when we came up with it, it was a concern for me that people were going to be offended to be called dinosaurs, but even the women we call dinosaurs. So I was like, okay, we got away with it with a few men, but now I'm going to invite Patty Thurston to come, or whoever to come. And we were saying, hey, I want you to be a dinosaur at this thing called Dining with Dinosaurs. And they loved it. Everyone laughed and thought it was great, and just loved the whole concept and stuff. And again, it's transferring knowledge and information and ideas from us to these new people who we're handing the torches to.
Yeah.
And it's so important. So
Well, I'm thrilled to be a part of it. And Scott DeVos, who is our common,
yeah.
I think Scott connected me,
Yeah,
and
it's perfect. Well, we look
yep.
forward to it. And
all right.
Thanks again, and thanks for doing this too.
Thanks, and we'll see you soon.
All right, John.